Hello and thank you for joining us on the last edition of Journalist Hangout. This week, I'm Ayodele Ozubaku. Today on the program, federal government labor meeting ends in deadlock as NLC TUC insist on strike over electricity fuel price hike despite court order. INEC meets with stakeholders ahead of Ondo Governorship election, urges security agents not to lower the standard attained in Edo State. And later on the show, more than 20 people injured, 23 buildings destroyed, and 15 vehicles burnt in another Lagos gas explosion. I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade-Otitoju, while Emeka Madunagu will be joining us via Skype. So if you're ready, let the hangout start now. We begin the program today by recognizing yet another award, and this one was sent in by retired members of Nigeria Armed Forces. Now, this award is from the retired members of Nigeria Armed Forces, REMENFA. So I got award for outstanding performance presented to Mr. Ayodele Ozubaku, media support in appreciation of your commitment in moving the practice of journalism profession forward. And also, the maestro himself, I'll continue calling him the maestro, if you like it or not, got, in appreciation of your commitment to moving the practice of journalism profession forward, another award was given to BKO, Babajide Kolade-Otitoju. Jide, if it's not for COVID-19, I'm sure the number of awards would have been counting by now. This is September. Yes. It wouldn't be anything less than 50. And for those people that you feel that what we are doing here, it's, I don't know how I will put it, because I've been bottled up since last week Sunday. I've been saying comments and everything. When you see somebody that is a blessing to this generation, and for me, it's a big privilege to be associated with somebody like Babajide Kolade-Otitoju. That when I've been meeting political analysts, I've been meeting journalists, Babajide Otitoju has been so outstanding. No matter what you think, no matter what you feel, this man is meant to be, celebrated as some people are doing, like the retired members of the Nigerian Armed Forces. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And we had the Vice Chancellor of Leeds City University, Ibadan. He was speaking in glowing terms about journalist hangout and you. BKO, how do you feel? Another one entering.
Well, I'm grateful. At every point, we get rewarded for what we do. But at the same time, there are some people who are simply not happy with what we are doing.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to be demoralized. Some people have called me. They said, Jide, don't predict again. I said, every time I predict, it's Ayo who pushes me to predict. Yes, we are going to be
here. We'll do on those states.
Yes, we'll predict. Nothing will stop me from predicting.
So you can write whatever you want to write on Facebook. You can put
you can abuse us. It doesn't matter.
You can abuse him. You can do anything. But journalists hang out. The bottom line is that it's a program to beat in the country, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, and it is the hatred for politicians that they have transferred to some of us.
The transferred aggression. Yes. What's my own with politicians?
Oh, so this is the thing. Oh, he's a Tinubu boy. Oh, he's a Shomale boy. Oh, he's this. He only predicts in favor of APC.
Some even went as far as even calling us brown envelope journalists.
Oh,
how ridiculous that can be. I don't know.
This prediction thing started in 2011. The general manager of Galaxy TV, he was the one who discovered me and nicknamed me the Oracle.
Kolawole-Otitoju is his name.
Yes, I didn't start it at TVC. It's not something that I started at TVC. So people think that it's because it's close to some politicians. No, even at that time I didn't have any friend who is a politician, but I was making predictions and they were accurate. And Akintoba can testify to that. He nicknamed me, he brought me on TV and nicknamed me the Oracle. He's there, general manager of Galaxy Television.
And I added the maestro.
And I'm happy for the way I've been prepared, I've been brought up by people, in the profession. So social media
it
gives
will keep coming, no matter what the haters feel. No matter what they say, this will keep coming, I assure you. And journalist hangout will continue to work strong. It's not the only TV program, for God's sake.
Thank you, retired members of the Nigerian forces.
Yes.
We are grateful for this.
Their labors,
those who put their lives on the line
for
us to be safe. They recognize that we are doing a good job.
Thank you so much. We had that event some weeks ago at the University of Lagos guest house.
And I promise you, VC of Leeds University, you want me to come and address your students, I will be there.
Yeah.
I give that promise.
Thank
you for being a lover of journalism.
Thank you so much, sir. We move on. We are not deterred, Babajide. No, it's not. Now, when warring parties meet to dialogue, it can either end in peaceful resolution or a continuation of the war. The meeting between the federal government and the organized labor met to avert a strike and protest has ended in a deadlock. And regardless of the industrial court ruling restraining the Nigerian Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress from going on the strike, they insist on embarking on an industrial action strike due to the hike in electricity tariff and fuel pump. Both unions say they would collaborate to execute the industrial action for maximum effects. Babajide, I saw this coming, but I don't know the time it was going to come, and I don't know how effective it will be. The last time I saw the Nigerian Labour Congress actually crippling the economy in Nigeria was during the time of Adams Oshiomhole. That's the NLC, those days, under Olusegun Obasanjo regime. As at that time, it was, but I don't know what is happening between the ranks of Labour and TUC right now. But it's instructive that some people went to the industrial courts, and the industrial courts, actually made a pronouncement that they should not proceed on this strike. Would they listen to the industrial courts and the Trade Union Congress ahead of the strike for Monday? Now, let's see the bone of contention. This fuel thing, it has been there for like forever. It was going to happen one day. But it's happening at a time that the tariff of electricity is becoming, everything is like almost unbearable in Nigeria right now. Yes. Inflation rates, go to the market, food stuff, everything is seriously on the high side, and Nigerians they're screaming. Whoever is saying that there's no hunger in the land, I can tell you that according to the world statistics saying that over 100 million Nigerians right now are below poverty level. We
have become the poverty capital of the world.
Yes.
We have overtaken India as the poverty capital of the world.
Poverty capital.
So many things are just not happening for us. So many negative things happening in our country. When you're talking about countries with an effective health system, Nigeria ranks among the worst in the world. In fact, the countries ranked alongside Nigeria are countries like Chad, Burundi, the lowly countries, they are the ones in our category. It is that bad. Our country deserves to be among the best. At independence, we had the potential. We demonstrated the potential. But a succession of irresponsible leadership has ensured that Nigeria is where it is currently.
Succession of
irresponsible leadership. Leaders who cannot bring real change, positive change, that will benefit the ordinary man. They are the ones that we've always had. And extremely selfish leadership is the bane of our country. Now, if you look at what is NLC saying, what is Labour saying? Labour is saying, you gave us minimum wage. That minimum wage is 30,000. Many households have more than 20 persons or 12 persons. How do they even survive on 30,000? In spite of this, many states are yet to even start paying.
30,000 cannot buy a bag of rice.
They are yet to start paying. Now, in spite of that, you come with stamp duty charge, come with increase in VAT, come with electricity tariff, come with petrol price hike, which will erase whatever gain Labour made with the new minimum wage. So they are concerned that there has to be palliatives in their view, because I know that Labour will first start by saying, look, revert to the old price regime. But I know that in the course of negotiation, they would want to take something away. So what they expect from government is, what are the palliative measures that you have taken? And I talked about this earlier in the week, that you don't just come up with this kind of a double increase and then not come up with anything that will mitigate the effect. So that's why Labour is up in arms. And the court order is not the first time. Not even during Obasanjo's time. The government tried to use the industrial court to stop the industrial action. But Labour refused. Labour went ahead. Because you can't simply kick the can down the road. People want a resolution of this matter. They want to know where this matter will end. But what the court will do is, oh, okay, you people should go and stay on the status quo until the matter is resolved. Who knows when the matter will be resolved? And Labour is saying, look, if you even want to increase electricity tariff, make sure that every Nigerian is metered. And government is saying, no, if we have to meter every Nigerian, it will take so much time. So what is it that you want the people to do? They are a pressure group. It's their duty to fight for good welfare for their members. And that's what they are doing.
Emeka, we've never had this bad, as in, it is 151 or 160? I just
162
lost
now.
162, because in the last 6 months, you can mention the number of times that they've actually adjusted the pump prices for petroleum products. Emeka, are you there? Yes, Emeka, what do you make of this situation? Oh, Emeka is finding the... Emeka? Okay. Well, we're struggling to get Emeka on board. Babajide, TUC, NLC, we've seen under this administration, the first time they actually called out Nigerians for a strike.
2016.
It wasn't successful, and I was shocked.
Yes.
The critical stakeholders for those strike, NURTW people, they were
Especially
running.
here in Lagos.
So far, the buses were running and everything.
Frustrated.
So the frustrated Labour forced the hand of Labour, and Labour had to call off that particular strike. Hope this is not going to end. We thought that time, because the goodwill of the government of that time, we were still basking in the euphoria of a new government, maybe 2016 and everything. It wasn't successful. But this one, what do you make of it?
Well, it's difficult to predict what will happen. What I know is that government is not likely to return to the old price regime.
Really?
We are so broke that if they try it, ayo. Those who are in the know are aware that we are making efforts to get another IMF loan. And one of the conditions they've given us is that we should go ahead and remove subsidy. And we have reached the point that we have reached the point that
to the tone of
we have reached the point that, look, you are looking for money here, it's not there. You are looking for money here, it's not there. Revenue is not sufficient to meet the needs of government. So what do you then do? You cannot then now say, okay, you want to be borrowing money to pay for subsidy. That's what the president said, that he could not see himself borrowing money to pay for subsidy. Is that bad for us as a people? That we are running from pillar to post looking for money. We can't even finance our budget. It's a massive problem. We are taking money, we are borrowing money up and down. To infrastructure, we can't fix without borrowing money. But they believe that with the removal of subsidy, it will free some funds that can now be used to fix critical infrastructure. This is the way they are thinking. If we go on, if they go back to the subsidy regime, I'm convinced that even to pay federal government workers will be difficult. People may think that I'm lying, But the people who truly know, they know that I'm saying the truth. To pay salaries of workers, federal workers, will be extremely difficult. So Labour is saying, okay, why can't you fix the refineries? That is a question that I've asked. This government has been in power for 5 years. If they told me that they won't be able to fix the refineries, I would have argued. But they've not been able to fix the refineries. We've spent billions and billions and billions. We cannot see the reward for all the money that we have spent. And the truth is, some countries of the world that do not even have crude oil, they have refineries, they are able to build refineries. So what is wrong with us as a country? The state of Texas in the US has more than 40 refineries. One state.
So what's the big deal?
Yes. Egypt has just minimal crude oil. They have refineries. We can't build refineries. We import 54 million liters of petrol per day. 54 million liters. That's what we consume, and it is from outside.
And if you ask anybody now, here we are waiting for Dangote refinery. And if that man enjoys monopoly in the next 20 years now, who will say, no, it's Dangote, it's Dangote. And it has taken time. So, Emeka, what do you make of this situation? NLC, TUC.
Yes, in a very unfortunate, Gide has said a lot about the situation in which we find ourselves. It's very, very unfortunate that we don't have a single functional refinery in this country. I mean, we're heading to 60 years of independence, but we are still largely dependent on importation of fuel. And of course, if you know, the central point, that fuel occupies in the affairs of this nation, you know that it's not something we should joke with. Now, NLC and TUC have rightly called out Nigerians to a strike, the first round of strikes. Now, let me tell you something interesting. With due respect to the judge of the National Industrial Court, I mean, he said the police should protect those workers who want to go to work. And NLC and TUC will not stop anybody from going to work. But now, what if the price of TMS rises to 200 naira between now and Monday, or 300 naira or 500 naira? How are the workers going to get to work? Now, I think government should not have fallen back on that, on the rule of National Industrial Court, because that's just in plain passion, just to, it's provocative. I think Nigerians are crying. Nigerians at all levels are crying. The rich are crying, the poor are crying, and nobody is happy. People are now saying that they have to park their cars at home, but public transport is not even cheaper. So government is in a precarious situation, but government has to work out a solution, because that's why it has the power of government. I mean, you cannot run away from it. Nigerians are in a very tight situation. A lot of people have lost their jobs, businesses have collapsed, government is even crying, about the revenue shortfall. So, falling back on an extra injunction will not solve the problem at hand. The problem at hand is much more than just saying, that NLC and TUC should not go on strike. Nigerians are already, at their wit's end. People are suffering. So there must be a solution. It's unfortunate. I've said it again and again, that government should sell all those refineries. But we keep hearing, different things. INEC just wants to lend us money. Of course, they have to be sure that they're going to get their money back. But again, the question to ask is this: if, because of IMF loan, we are going to push our countrymen into further suffering, how far will we go before we do the right thing? We must cut costs at the highest level of governance. You still see governors with tactical convoys. You still see a lot of extravagance at the top levels of government. You still see a lot of waste. You still see a lot of things that government officials are holding on to, which should be disposed of. The refinery should be sold. I think, as I said, when President IMF was trying setting mechanism. People, how one of people saying there that 530 mechanism, we've been doing these things in 1988, where Babajide said he was regulating the oil sector.
Okay, Emeka, let me take this commercial break. We'll take this commercial break. Still to come, INEC meets with stakeholders ahead of Ondo Governorship election, urges security agents not to lower the standard offered in Edo State. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this time out. It's still Journalist Hangouts. Multi-award winning program coming to you live from TVC News here from our headquarters in Lagos, Nigeria. The chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, has arrived in Akure, the Ondo State capital, for a 3-day visit to have an on-the-spot assessment of the level of preparedness for the October 10 governorship election in the states. He noted that new card readers have been purchased to replace those burnt in the inferno that raised a makeshift office housing the gadgets. As the D-Day draws near, we can only hope for a credible poll in Ondo State. You know, while we're on a run-up to 2019 election, we did what we know how to do best, by our ability to just look at it and look at the political firmament in any state, and we'll be able to say, these are the factors and these are the indices. You are not God. Yes. So those factors and indices, they are not hard and fast. As in, at the end of the day, you know, except some things will play out, which did happen in Edo State. Let me just take us back to our earlier predictions on the show for the People's Democratic Party.
The presidential election in Sokoto can be compared to what's coming on Saturday. In the whole of the North, the performance of PDP in Sokoto was the best. They scored 41% in Sokoto, and not many people expected it, but I remember saying it here, that PDP thinks that they can take at least 40% in Sokoto, and it's down to Tambuwa's work. But I can tell you that when Wamako has to face people like Atairu, Bafarawa, who are now with the governor, it's going to be tough. It's not going to be simply, oh, Wamako has crowd. I mean, Wamako has, yes, he has crowd. But this is a governor, you know, who is a sitting governor, so it's going to be tough. It's really going to be tough.
Too close to call.
It's too close to call. I fancy Tambuwa's chances of retaining that seat as the sitting governor. Governor Darius Ishaku is a Christian, and he'll be contesting against 2 Muslims in Mama Taraba and Sani Danladi. So that's why I'll give him a slight edge. I expect the governor to win. I expect him to retain his seat. It's always been a close contest in that state. There's no election in that state that which is never close. But at the end of the day, PDP always triumphs. Governor Darius Ishaku has more influence, more resources, and greater power to make things happen. So I'll give him a slight edge, and I project that PDP will retain the state. Akwa Ibom, the PDP will win in Akwa Ibom. Maybe the APC will do better than they did in the presidential.
In terms of figure?
Yes, in the presidential election.
And some House of Assembly seats.
You can see, I don't know about seats, honestly, because even in this last election, they didn't concede a single seat to the APC. All the senatorial seats, all the House of Reps is taken away. Not even in Akpabio's constituency did he get a single House of Reps. So this is the point.
It's critical.
Yeah, it is, but
the day determines the night, as he said. This PDP is very strong in this state. Maybe after a few years of constantly making the people happy by appointing their big people into top positions, because the president has tried for Akwa Ibom people. They've never had this good. But the truth, in spite of that, they are emotionally attached to this PDP. Wike is strong.
So formidable.
Wike is strong. PDP is strong in that state. So at the end of the day, even if you look at the pattern of election, this last one, scoring more than 500,000 votes, despite the fact that the biggest local governments, some of the biggest local governments, elections didn't take place in them. So that should tell you that the party is strong. So it looks like Wike has had his way.
A walkover for Wike.
Yeah.
The way it looks.
It does.
The way things stand now, yes.
It does look so.
Let's go to Cross Rivers.
It's a PDP state. And it shows, even by elections that were held last year, PDP won. So it's a PDP state, just like Taraba. So I expect the governor to return. Although APC has really worked hard in that state in the last, but they are also not helped by the infighting.
When you look at the dates, and you will understand what I'm trying to do here. For those of you that your stock in trade is to label us APC journalists or bodyline machinery, for whatever you might try to call us, in 2019 election, BKO did a state-by-state analysis of what is going to happen in South-South, North-East, North-West, North-Central, and it actually predicted that this is the political party that will win. We took this time out to just do a compilation of those states that he knew that, look, it was going to fall to the hands of the People's Democratic Party. So you better have a rethink for those of you that it's always very convenient for you to go to the social media and you want to bring something that is very noble down.
Those are not even the only PDP states that... Those are not the only states that I said a PDP would
I remember you talking about Sokoto. You kept talking about Tambuwal, that, look, this is going to be a close contest. But at the end of the day, Tambuwal was going to win.
Yes.
That no matter how they do it,
Tambuwal was going to win. Even during the rerun.
And I remember some chieftains of APC calling you to abuse it thoroughly.
Yes.
Because they said Tambuwal was going to win.
They said Takada Wamako was too popular. It was too... I knew the level of investigation that I had done, and I was convinced. I also said PDP will snatch Bauchi from APC. PDP will snatch Adamawa from APC.
2.5 years
PDP
to the election,
will go to
we started
Benue.
talking about Governor Bindo.
Yes.
That is the possibility of losing that state.
Yes. It's convenient for people to call you an APC journalist. But if I was simply an APC journalist, would I be giving PDP victory in not less than 11 states? I projected that PDP will win. And there was no state where I said PDP will win that they didn't win. So this is the thing. The good thing about technology is that you can leverage on it and recall what you had said, you know. But for someone like Benue State, for example, many people never believed that Otom will be re-elected. I said Otom will be re-elected, and he was re-elected. So where you now make a mistake, or it's not even a mistake, where you projected and it didn't work according to plan, because a lot of variables changed.
Days ahead will tell us what happened in the Edo State at the backstage. No, Nigerians will be shocked when you hear the full gist.
People are beginning to know what happened. People are beginning to know what happened. It's not secret anymore that the APC governors worked against their own candidate. It's well known.
That in Government House Ekiti, they were jubilating when the results were announced. They were jubilating. I have people that was in Government House Ekiti State that showed how they were jubilating in Ekiti State.
There were staff of the president.
Ekiti and APC states.
Staff of the president, who were posting on social media, hoping that the candidate of the APC in Edo will lose. So where a party is disunited, how do you then go into a contest?
And the people were tired. The people came out, they voted PDP. They came out, they voted PDP, and people walked against this thing. So some of these predictions, sometimes they're not hard and fast. You even have men of God that predict. And
how about footballers like Michael Owen? Every Saturday they predict and it doesn't come to pass.
Some of you even play Bet Nigeria every week.
And you don't win all the time.
You don't win every
Most of the
week,
time you lose.
So why is it that it's BKO picture that you're not carrying all over social media? No, it's ridiculous.
They are equating me to God.
Let's talk about Ondo State election. That Ondo State election, yes, it will be convenient for us to say it's a two-horse race. But let's look at the situation, how we got where we are today. And Akure happens to be the deciding factor.
Yes.
And I was told that Itayo Jegede is now holding his grip on Akure, is consolidating, and this Akure sentiment that yes, this is our son, this will be the first time, let him do it. The Akure people, they are coming together and they have the bulk vote. Right. But at the same time, there are some variables that will play out within the APC that might just make Akiti.
Yes, APC is a party to fear now. Even for someone who likes to predict, you must fear them now, because you never can say which APC will turn up for an election. Many of the states where they lost, including even when you're close to us here, it was APC that caused the defeat. It's not the strength of PDP.
Throughout, if I say.
In Bauchi, in Adamawa, APC kill APC. So it's difficult now to simply say, well, this is what will happen. Until it's so close to the election, when you will, some of those meetings that they do 3 days to election, these days now, we must now factor those meetings.
And maybe 24, 48 hours.
Yes, maybe a meeting can happen 24 hours, and then all of what you thought will happen will just change. But let's even leave that issue. Our predictions are usually done like 3 days to
yes, now, will Itayo Jegede get the kind of support PDP got from Wike? The likes of Wike, they relocated, they left Rivers State and actually came to Edo State, and they were saying, I saw one video that Wike said, he was telling people that just take this as the end of your political career, as if your life depends on this Edo election, that we are going to go all out to get it.
Therefore, it is not what Wike does that matters the most. It is how the APC approaches the election. They have the governor. That's a position of strength to be an incumbent. Yes. It's a position of strength. Now, how do the governors and the APC and other members of the party, are they prepared to work fully for Akiti? What I've heard is that what happened in Edo will not be repeated in Ondo, that they had even been mobilizing funds and been preparing for that one months back.
So they couldn't find people to attend Ezeyamu's rally, the final rally.
The intention was to disgrace Oshiomhole. Oshiomhole was the factor. They didn't want Ayo. There was an edition of journalism where I said the only way that APC could win Edo is if the president convinces those governors to work for the candidate of their party. I said it by the way, I knew what they could do. So it looked initially like everything had ended, that there was no fight, no problem anymore, until when the time came for the mega rally, they were not going to come, and the mega rally was cancelled.
I even went to see if we can take it live.
Now for Ondo, I don't expect exactly what happened to happen, because I've heard that they have been preparing for that one.
And the relationship between the chairman of Governors Forum and Akeredolu, they are 5 and 6. That's,
it's not. Yes,
Akiti,
it's like his best friend among governors.
Yes, so it will rally around, will call.
Again, with APC, anything can happen. The way they are now, pulling in different directions, trying to deliberately kill themselves, it is dangerous to stick your neck out for them. So you never can tell. And don't also forget some of the social problems in the country will also reduce the capacity of the APC to win votes. Yes. I was telling someone, I said, it is not one reason that makes people to lose election. There are other factors. People are suffering.
Inflation how the government is all-time high.
How the government responds to some of these problems, how they try to resolve this problem with NLC, for example, can also be a factor. It can also be a factor. So, at the end of the day, it's a tough contest that they should prepare for.
Everyone will not even understand the removal of subsidy, what it's about.
He just knows that the price has gone up.
So, and they'll say, yes,
the dealing with that.
Everything is too high you know, with the APC government, and it will demarket APC.
Yes, they are already doing that. They are already doing that.
So people don't want to hear AP anywhere. They just look.
The party has a lot to do. The party has a lot to do. The government has a lot to do. Like this NSC matter now, they must manage it in the right way. Palliatives must come. And communication is not simply to abuse people and talk like an arrogant fellow when you are spokesman to president. Communication should be top notch. Let the people know what the government is planning.
Okay, Emeka Madunagu, what do you make of this? Yes.
On the election, you mean?
Ondo election, yes.
Yes. I believe it's going to be an unusual election. If the main front runners as Governor Edo State and Agbola, you know, playing a kind of a spoiler role with the ZL. Yeah, but it's true that it's easy to say that the entire will easily swing the surprise against Governor Kedolu. But with Agbola playing a spoiler role, you know, by the edge, I mean, it's difficult to say because he left APC, it's a spoiler for APC, and also a spoiler for PDP. Since initially he went to PDP and then moved on to ZLP. So definitely, the Governor Rotimi Akeredolu might just escape by the skin of his teeth, given this fractious relationship. I mean, given the situation on ground. I mean, yes, people have, you know, there are things people have said about, against Akeredolu. His support days have been seriously fractured. A lot of politicians are not happy with him. And, you know, there are issues even within the party, you know, the state chapter of the party. Well, luckily for him, he doesn't have any godfather to contend with. So that makes it easier for him. But he also has formidable forces to face if he has to get a second step. So given the fact that Ita Jegede and Agbola could not come together to forge a common front, they might just end up causing problems, you know, for each other that Akeredolu might capitalize upon and get a second term, even if it's, I imagine that the Tambua over APC. I mean, you know, the Tambua's margin was so narrow, and somehow he managed to win. So I'm thinking that Akeredolu might just escape by the skin of his teeth. Well, it's still early days, the election, but definitely the way he's able to find problems.
Okay, we'll take this commercial break. When we come back, we'll talk more. It's still Journalist Hangout. We'll be right back after this break. A multi-award winning program reaching you live from television, from TVC News here in Lagos, Nigeria. And no fewer than 30 people were injured, with 15 vehicles and 23 buildings destroyed in a gas explosion that occurred yesterday at Iju-Ishaga, Lagos State. The spokesperson of the Lagos State Emergency Agency, Nosa Kumbo, says investigation revealed that a truck had a lone accident and exploded. What can be done to prevent these explosions harming our people? Gentlemen, Babajide, I saw that video and it was, I thank God that the number of casualties claimed wasn't more than this. If the accurate figure we have, this figure we have is anything but accurate.
But my fear is that some of those injured will succumb to their injuries. That's my fear, because I saw somebody being taken away. That was already first-degree burns. So it's going to be a miracle for that one to survive, because he will have lost so much blood. You know, so sometimes when these things happen,
gas explosions,
we don't get the right update after a few hours.
Follow up, yes.
People will have died. given the scale of yesterday's...
The number of people injured, just calculated that some of them would have given
20 men and 10 women.
Some even before you take them to the hospital, and some when they get to the hospital.
Yes, after a few days, some of them will die. Because you know what is even the state of our hospitals. Some of the things that you need to save lives are not present. So how do you then save lives? You'll be moving them from one hospital to another, when you discover that, oh, they don't have oxygen here. Okay, take them to Ikeja, So because of moving people around, some of them will die. It's really tough. I don't think that gas plants should be built in residential areas, because every time that we have this kind of accident, many people die because of the location of the plant itself, So we've got to find a way, probably locate them far away.
I'm telling you.
To reduce the risk of huge fatalities in the event of an accident.
Some gas plants, Emeka, some gas plants you see them that are close to filling stations. Now they've told them, like in Lagos, I know that most of them they'll be told to leave the vicinity of the filling stations around, and we have to manage this thing very well, Emeka.
Yes, I think we need to also, the way we plan competition. It's not something we can start talking about Nigeria. So definitely we need to move gas plants away from densely populated areas. And then again, the Corps Marshal of the Federal Road Safety, Boboye, was saying the other day that a lot of truck drivers have vision problems, and so he raised a concern about the way, if we're having accidents involving trucks of different types. And now you got truck, look at this kind of thing. Look at the damage, and you find that a lot of Nigerians don't insure their property or a lot of people have third-party insurance. So what can that cover? With this kind of damage, a lot of people's livelihoods are totally wiped out. So definitely government must come down hard. Even you find that LPG is being sold in shops, in crowded areas. Why should that be? We should have some areas designated for such things, because whenever there's an explosion, it's usually very terrible. We saw what happened in Kaduna, was it sometime last year? And it was so bad. We've seen these things happening in different places. So I sympathize with the victims of the Jew incident. But definitely, government must come down hard and do something about LPG. Because we cannot be telling people, okay, don't use firewood, stop using kerosene, or move to LPG, move to gas. And then you just ask people to do things the way they like. We must do something about it. We must work out a solution, because we can't play with people's lives.
Okay, reaching us on phone now is Benga Agumbiade from Iju. Thank you for joining us, Benga.
Good evening, Mr. Ayo.
Yes, what actually happened? Can you please describe the scenario to us in Iju?
Yeah. Good evening, Mr. Babajide.
Good evening.
What happened yesterday was very heartbreaking, because I was at home when I had the blast, and I immediately rushed down there to make a live video as well, the way I always do. So on getting there, I saw everywhere commotion, and the magnitude of the explosion was so massive that even when you see it, you can't view it twice. So looking at things over there, the truck, even you can't recognize the truck anymore. It's all damaged to a big truck now look like a small car. And also people trying to save each other, and people run for their dear life. There are some that fell into the swampy area, in which I confirmed by seeing sleepers over there. And even till I left the place past 7 yesterday, people still searching everywhere looking for their family. looking for their loved ones. And it was a very, very massive one. And a very heartbreaking. I call it a Black Thursday in Idrishaga because so bad, so very, very bad. With what happened yesterday, the buildings, event centers, the marketplace, and also casualty as well. Because what I saw yesterday with those affected, it will take the hand of God for them to survive that bomb. It's so massive.
We pray for that hand of God to actually intervene in this situation. A day before that, there was a tanker that exploded in Kogi State.
Yes.
And we had the same situation.
Well, people are saying even that of Kogi, that it happens all the time and that all that is required is to put speed breakers. So that those tanker drivers will realize that they can't simply be speeding along that road. So the state government should go ahead, even though it's a federal route, if there are portions to fix on the road, the state government should fix those portions and save the lives of innocent Kogi people. And then they should also install speed breakers so that the reckless driving by these truck drivers will at least be reduced. Otherwise, people will continue to die for nothing.
It's becoming a recurring decimal.
Yes, they said almost every year it happens along that road, that tanker drivers will just put their truck on neutral and just be rolling it down on that slopey road.
Neutral?
Yes, so that you just be sailing. You don't need to
apply
throttle. No, if you throttle, you use more fuel. So they will just put it on neutral and then you start sailing. Like a boat.
That's reckless.
So, but if you put the speed breakers now, that will at least reduce their speed. Accidents, the magnitude of accidents can be mitigated when you are not overspeeding, So, I expect the Kogi State government to do that.
Emeka, what do you make of this situation?
Yeah, for me, I think government has been too complacent concerning, bringing together town planning laws and road safety laws. Trucks should not be allowed into certain areas. Gas truck should not be allowed into densely populated areas. These kind of things are not rocket science. We need to consider, we need to look at the risk factor before fighting petrol stations, gas plants, and such things that can, have so much, that can cause so much damage to human lives and property. You can imagine the impact on properties in that area. Definitely, government wants to conduct integrity tests on properties in that area because what I saw in pictures, videos, it was terrible. So that of Kogi is so unfortunate. I also sympathize with families. There are people in Kogi. But you see, these things are avoidable. Our town planning officials do, these things are avoidable. It doesn't matter. I heard of a case where the town planning officials have to force a gas plant.
Thank you, Emeka. Thank you for your contribution. We are out of time. Thank you for your contribution. So good to see you. After a long time, Emeka Madunagu. It's been a while. Nice to see you again. Hope we do this often. All right. BKO, it's a Friday.
Yes,
BKO had to just... Yes,
they didn't want people to know.
It's my birthday.
They didn't want people to know. But people will know now.
No, because we are keeping to the COVID protocol and everything. So I don't want people around.
You must buy drinks for your friends.
Yes,
you must buy drinks for your friends. Whatever happens.
It has reduced income and inflation and everything. And the APC government has not been smiling at all. We thank God for his message. Vicky, it's a weekend and we'll do it again next Monday. That's the maestro himself, Babajide Kolade-Otitoju. And that's our offering today. Join us next week for another episode of the program. You can also watch Journalist Hangout on other platforms showing on the screen. We're on YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. Our feedback channel is Journalist Hangout at tvcnews.tv. I'm Ayodele Uzubaku. Bye for now. God bless Nigeria and see you next week.